So my experiment is on which vinegar makes a balloon inflate the fastest. And initially, I had thought that I would use three different liquids like vinegar, water, and lemon juice. However, I thought, well, it's pretty obvious that it's going to be vinegar. And so I wanted to do something a little different. And in this case, what I ended up doing was picking three different types of vinegar. So if you look in bottle number 1, the solution is white vinegar. And then in bottle 2, the solution is apple cider vinegar. And then number 3, the solution is actually rice vinegar. And you can kind of see how the reactions cause the balloons to look this way. So the purpose of this experiment is to investigate how 3 different types of vinegar, which I just said, the white vinegar, apple cider vinegar, and rice vinegar, affects the speed of the reaction with baking soda, and also measured by how quickly the balloon inflates. Now, the hypothesis that I selected was that based off of these 3, I had initially thought it would be white vinegar because the concentration is not mixed with other things. Like, for example, there's apple cider vinegar. So there's different additional ingredients to apple cider vinegar and rice vinegar, which has probably a little more sugar added. So that's my hypothesis. And the materials that I use consist of plastic water bottles. I had to do 3 trials of this just to make sure that my hypothesis was going to be correct or if it was going to be incorrect. And so then I also used the same size balloons, and then we had baking soda, and which was I added 1 teaspoon, and then also a measuring cup and a funnel, and then a stopwatch. And so as a result, what I ended up doing was that there's 3 different trials, and the very first trial, when I did the white vinegar, it ended up being that trial number 1, the time was 10 seconds, and then trial 2 was 9 seconds, and then trial 3 was 11 seconds, which averaged out to be about 10 seconds for the white distilled water. And then for the apple cider vinegar, it took 15 seconds, and then trial 2 was 14, and then trial 3 was 16 seconds. And then lastly was the rice vinegar. And the first trial was 23 seconds, the second was 20, and then the third trial was 22. With the apple cider vinegar, it was average about 15 seconds, and then with the rice vinegar, the average was about 21.7 seconds. So with this said, what I ended up, what the conclusion of this is that my hypothesis was correct in the fact that white vinegar actually reacted the quickest. And this experiment shows that different types of vinegar affects the speed of reaction when it's mixed with baking soda. And in the example trials, white distilled vinegar produced the fastest reaction. And it's probably likely because it has a stronger acidity versus you've got apple cider vinegar here and rice vinegar here. And these have different additives that are added to the vinegar. So it would make it more mild and less acidic. And so I think the mixture of the different ingredients in these 2, bottle 2 and bottle 3, would reduce the reaction and cause it to the inflation to be slower. So what I found interesting was that when we did bottle number 1 with the white distilled water, it shot up right away. And then with this, the balloon is actually bigger than these. And then this one, which is the bottle 3, was the rice vinegar. The reaction was actually pretty powerful. And then, but it was a heavy and a thicker type of reaction, which caused the balloon to droop. And then with number 2, it was more of a steady inflation. So then the balloon actually inflated bigger in larger size out of all these 3. And in conclusion, this was a very fun experience to do, because it allowed me to ask questions like, wait, why is apple cider vinegar? Why did the balloon get bigger? And why did, with the rice vinegar, it was slower because it was about an average of 21 seconds that it took for it to inflate. However, the reaction caused the balloon to be so heavy to where it won't even stay up. And so then you've got the distilled vinegar where the reaction was so quick and it just shot up right away. Like it only took 10 seconds. And so hopefully this allows us to see that, you know, when it comes to reactions, you know, whether it's physical or chemical reactions, understanding how these can affect us, and the use of it is important as well. Thank you.